She-Ra, Princess of Power. The show that came out in 1985 that I was still in high school. Never got to watch this show, but I have caught up since then. Since I got the first figure, Mondo did the 1/6 scale She-Ra, which I have a video on that, link in the description below. But let's get on to the new 1/6 scale, improved timed edition She-Ra by Mondo. And let's take it to the unboxing. But yeah, very classic show. So as we unbox She-Ra, the Princess of Power, 1/6 scale figure, this timed edition, beautiful box. As always, Mondo knocks it out of the park. I've pre-ordered this back in 2025. I think it was August. Got it in, I guess, in April. So kind of a little bit sooner than pretty much was expected in May this month, but got it a little bit earlier. They were right on the spot. But yeah, looking at the box, the artwork, very nicely done. Got the credits. It should have all the credits of all the individuals that put this figure together. A lot of good stuff to delve into. This edition has a couple of exclusives to it. Definitely has a lot of different variations you can do it. And you can see it's an exclusive timed edition. I don't think they came out with a standard edition, but they also have Swiftwind, which I did not get him. Don't have the space. That was going to be a lot of extra money on that one, but I wanted to get the She-Ra 1/6 scale figure. As you can see, multiple clamshell trays, lots of accessories to delve into and actually configure the different looks, the classic, the vintage, even the bubble power. First thing, let's look at the capes. You got the classic red one, and I think that's one of the fabric classic fabric skirts. But you can see the bubble power gold cape is on the left. That is her. That is a fabric classic skirt. Another option. Pretty nice, pretty cool. So yeah, definitely. Very surprised. I wasn't expecting this one to be having that classic. But there's different other skirts and different looks you can put She-Ra in, which we'll get into. But yeah, let's look at the gold bubble power skirt. I want to say skirt. The cape, which you can kind of see. It does have wire, bendy wire, which is really nice. Most capes do, but it's nice that they did that. But you can see this is the bubble power, Princess of Power figure. It came out. This one, I think that figure came out in '87. This is 2011. Another one came out, the bubble power, which I had no clue about this. Like I said, I was at that time I was in high school. I don't think I was playing with action figures. I was kind of too old to be playing with action figures, so kind of missed all this. But now getting back into the 1/6 scale, got to check out this She-Ra figure. But yeah, especially now with the Masters Universe movie coming out, perfect timing. It came out. So you can see the classic red cape definitely has some little clips, bendy wire, very good quality. So the next thing I want to take out is the figure stand. It does have the waist, and I think I might switch out like I did on I think it'll do the Tila, the She-Ra with a crotch grabber. So I'm going to probably maybe switch that out instead of having the waist grabber. And you can kind of see this one actually was a big improvement from the first She-Ra Mondo figure. It had a much smaller little base. This one's actually the nice big one. Yeah, nice and shiny. So there's a lot more space, more real estate on the stand. You can kind of pose her a little more freely. But I think the She-Ra was that a little bit smaller. But yeah, the last figure of She-Ra, this is definitely a huge improvement from the first one. The first one was a nice one. It was really nice as well. But this one right here, definitely stepped it up a little bit level. Definitely Mondo, like I said, been very impressed with all the Mondo releases I've had so far. But let's take out one of her swords here. And I believe this sword, you can see the detail, very nicely done. Yeah, this one is definitely nicely done. Trying to figure which one this one's to. Is it the vintage or the classic sword? And here's the other one. Pretty similar. It definitely has the little pink in there, the gold. Very nicely done. Yeah, I mean, just clean paint app. It's all plastic. And we can see here, another sword. Another classic sword. All in silver, little blue accent there. I'm assuming it'd be like an emerald or something. Or maybe not that, but yeah, Very clean, very nicely paint job again. Yeah. Yeah, so it's very light. I'm trying to think if it's what the material is made of. It's a PVC or maybe a more rubber. But here's another piece here. Trying to figure, this is probably with her. This looks like my, going with her. I'm trying to figure if it's the classic. The classic look. I'm trying to figure what part of that would be. Probably the vintage chest, maybe the shoulder armor, probably. Maybe for the vintage look. Because like I said, there's vintage, classic. Not 100% sure, like I said, I'm not a big expert on the Motu universe, like a lot of other people who grew up with it. But you can see the portraits. It's got many portraits here. Several nice paint applications. Love the head sculpt on this one. Beautiful portrait. Yeah, so this might be I want to say the standard. Nice. She's smiling. I'll probably definitely will pose her with this pose. She's definitely got the little nice smile there. But yeah, it's the hair. Look at that. Just nicely sculpted. Everything. Just wow. Very impressed so far. But yeah, you can definitely tell there's some pliability there. There's a little rubber there, just so it's not as super rigid. Even though the hair is a little more rigid, but definitely got a little flex to it. But yeah, look at you can see the notch there. That's where you're gonna put one of the tiaras on her. She got multiple different tiaras on her. You can put on her for different looks. The classic, the vintage, or the bubble power one. And here is Cal. They also included him in the first She-Ra release, Mondo did. And I'm almost certain they pretty much used the same figure, same sculpt and everything, just a different color scheme. So he's got a little, I don't say rainbow look, but he's definitely got a different color scheme. He's also articulated like the first release. And he's got some little weathering around his neck area. So yeah, just a really cool little accessory, little buddy of She-Ra's. Glad they included that. So yeah, definitely a nice little addition. And in addition to Cal, we have another one. Another little buddy of She-Ra's. So not sure what his name is. I don't know if there's a name given for him. I'm sure someone in the comments who's very familiar with the She-Ra Princess of Power show and everything else. Not sure what his name is, but pretty cool. It's got the red eye. Definitely articulated and limited, just like Cal is. Much more bigger, a little more heft to him. Definitely different look. Definitely same species, I guess you could say, but same. But yeah, overall, I mean, just another nice little second edition. Very nice little pleasant surprise that they included another little guy, little companion. And here we're gonna look at I believe that is probably one of the belts. This is probably the belt for the fabric classic skirt. So yeah, that's probably one of the belts for that one. Yeah, just gets the detail again. Very soft, very nicely painted. And here's interchangeable hands, different nice gestures, different poses. What I like about those hands, they're really easy to pop on and off. And here is one of the pieces for the bubble power look. So if you want to put this chest piece, that is the bubble power chest piece there for her, the armor, I guess. And it definitely got a little clasp in the back, and it's definitely pliable, kind of rubber, I guess. You can kind of pop it right on there. Two of her skirts here. This looks like this is more than likely I think maybe the vintage style skirt. Yeah, because I think the one she's got her on is their classic. So this would be her vintage. But like I said, I am not 100% versed. So if anybody want to correct me in the comments, feel free to do that. But yeah, just loving this piece. Everything about this. I mean, every little piece here the sculpt is really well done. The paint app, there's no slop anywhere in here. And that is the bubble power skirt. Little armor there. Yeah, it's everything. It's pretty much like it's flexible. I mean, it's definitely got as you can see, it's not super rigid. So let's look at another portrait. Yeah, this is a windswept hair, I guess. Got the serious look on her face there. But yeah, she's got her standard portrait, I guess. but this time with the windswept hair. Look at that. That is really, really cool looking piece there. Yeah, it's definitely would be, like I said, there's a lot of interchangeabilities, a lot of different looks you can switch out. And what's kind of nice is easy, and a lot of these things are really easy to interchange. Each piece is really good. Change out the skirt, the head sculpt, everything just pops in and off. Just very easily, nicely done. Like I said, if it's like the other figures, Mondo figures I've had, they're pretty simple. But yeah, again, the portrait's standard, nice, that serious look, beautiful. And here is another portrait of her. Similar hairstyle as a standard, but this time she's got that fierce, angry look. The angry portrait. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool that they included that. But yeah, look at the paint on the hair. Very nicely done. But yeah, look at that. The side profile, got her brows all. Yeah, I love that expression, that angry look. Very cool. Yeah, you got the blue eyes. But yes, like I said, this is definitely a different look and definitely improved from the first. And here is one of her tiaras. And I think this one right here pretty much might be the... I'm trying to think that looks like that should be the classic one. The classic tiara. Yeah, and you can see the red painted. Very nice. I think it was like if it was one step above. This is like a jewel. Look at that. I mean, that was like painted. This is kind of... This, I think, is maybe the vintage... the breastplate. Yeah, I think that's what that piece is there. I think that's the vintage chest and chest plate there. Yeah, because the classic, she's wearing the classic outfit now, and that's probably the vintage mask, tiara mask with mask. No, the vintage, yeah, tiara mask. Because he's got the little eyes, like so. It's... Yeah, you can see where it attaches to the head. So I'm trying to think if you could do that upside down. Because I know there's a point. I remember the last time I demonstrated with the other people used to, put the tiara upside down where she's like looking out. That was like goggles or something like that. And another tiara. This is the Bubble Power tiara, and you can tell with the colors, the pinkish color, pink. I mean, within the video, it almost looks like a deep red pink, but it's pretty nice pink color. You look in person, but yeah, it's nicely painted again. Yeah, so like I said, I'll put it all together, show her all pieced up here, and this is I think this is another vintage tiara mask. Yeah, the tiara yeah, that's cool. It's like a classic clear, different look. Yeah, it's all kind of, like I said, there's the vintage, the classic, and the Bubble Power. Trying to get them all together. And there's the shield. And maybe the classic shield. I'm pretty sure that's their classic shield. Yeah, because like I said, it comes with 2 different shields. So I'm almost thinking this might be the classic, or could it be the vintage? I don't think so. But yeah, it's either or. It's a beautiful piece, sculpted very nice. Got the blue right there, and like an emerald or a gem or something like that. And here is the other shield. Yeah, that's really very cool. I love that. It's like a big, like an emerald, but it was like see-through kind of plastic kind of look. Yeah, that is definitely cool. So yeah, 2 different types. There's the handles inside. They're pliable, like a rubbery, so you can kind of easily put our arms through that. Got that gold look there. Yeah, that's really cool. Love that piece. I mean, look at the intricate details. Even like it's almost like hammered metal where that orangey, yellowish looks. Yeah, very cool. And here is her Bubble Power little blaster there. Her Bubble Power blaster. Which is kind of funny. I don't have no bubbles, so I'm almost thinking maybe you could probably put some solution in there and blow blow some bubbles out of there. I don't know. Pretty cool though. I love it how it's got mechanical. It actually moves that little piece. Yeah, that is definitely a very unique weapon, the blaster, I guess. And you can see there's the pistol, the grip. You put her arm in there. But yeah, the thing is, it is pretty heavy on the, it's almost like top heavy, almost like the, front heavy. So I'm almost guaranteed that she's not going to be able to hold that with one arm. So it's going to be very interesting to, she'll probably have to put that, yeah, I don't see that actually her holding that up. Unless you stiffen, yeah, that is really heavy on the, there's a lot of weight on the front part there. So I do not see that being held with with one arm at a horizontal position. I think that's going to definitely she's definitely going to be having that thing that on the ground. And I'm pretty sure I'll demonstrate that once I put it all together. Now let's take out the feature hero of our video here, the main attraction, the figure herself. Yeah, she is definitely very good looking figure. She's definitely got all the nice, all the different, all the protection, shipping protection, all the plastic on there. And the thing I was thinking when I was, opening this up here, trying to figure out, like I said, how to get off, each piece. So that's the thing is, trying to get all these different pieces off. Okay, this easily comes off the chest piece, that classic. You can see there's a little styrofoam there, or not styrofoam, but like a foam. Everything's protected, very nice. Yeah, look at that. The paint, the skin application, the skin for tone. Trying to get this off. I'm trying to figure out, like, you know what? How the heck are you going to get that skirt off? So there's a way actually pulling that body apart, which you can actually pull that torso, the waist off pretty easily. Because you're gonna have to do that to change out the classic. That's what I'm thinking right there. Yeah, you can probably, I was gonna say, trying to figure out how are you gonna switch them out. But yeah, you basically will have to pull that waist off easily. It'll pop off easy, and you can switch out the different skirts. But yeah, I got her classic tiara on. She's already got her skirt. The articulation is kind of limited on her hair, just the head, just because of the hair. But yeah, she does have some nice wrist articulation there, a little movement there. Her joints in the shoulders. Yeah, a little ball joint on the wrist. Nice little joint articulation there. You can see on her elbow. Yeah, your basic movements there. And she doesn't go any further back. Everything's kind of designed to go up, down. The shoulder, you can kind of see it's on the swivels. Yep. So yeah, decent articulation. The legs don't spread as far just because of the limitation of the skirt. Even without the skirt, I think she probably wouldn't. You couldn't get her to do the splits or anything like that. But definitely got some nice articulation. You can see on the knees, it does swivel around her shins. The knees does have a double joint there, which is standard, nice. So you could definitely get her in some nice poses there in their bending her double jointed knee. And actually, this was actually everything moving around. You can see in there even the ankles got some nice articulation. But everything is pretty much solid. There's no super stiff joints where you're afraid like some figures you try to, it's really hard to get that thing to move. And there's some limited articulation you can see here as I demonstrate the movement on her waist. I mean, it's pretty limited. You can't really twist her too much, but there is a little bit. Yeah, so it's the nature of the beast, with her skirt being, a hard plastic, not soft goods, on the plastic on the skirt. Like I said, the only soft goods she has really is that skirt. That basically that fabric classic skirt that she has there. So yeah, so I think this whole look right here. Yeah, you got the very nice. Yeah, it's a good looking figure. The stand. There's a stand right there, your waist. But I'm gonna, I've got several stands. So I'm gonna use this one I think it's going to be a little bit, you can see, you don't even see too much, just, yeah, sometimes I don't like, with the white, especially white with the black, it actually works out perfect. I mean, she will stand on her own, as you saw, as you demonstrated, you saw earlier, the figure will stand on her own. But yeah, with all the different shields and all that stuff, even with their accessories on, you can kind of see the cape wasn't too hard to put on. The little clips, just clip it. There's a lot of area right there. Just clip them in. But yeah, just a beautiful figure. Love it. I mean, everything about this figure, very impressed with it so far. I definitely is a huge improvement from the first She-Ra. I mean, I do love the first She-Ra figure when I first got it, because like I said, I missed out. I missed out on getting, pre-ordering the She-Ra. Even the first Tila, Mondo, I did a video, and then later on I did get the timed edition, bought it in a secondary market, but I did the Tila through Mondo Direct, the standard edition, because I missed the timed edition. But you can see the power, bubble power, or get up there. You can kind of see. I can't really I could not pose her straight with that gun as I predicted, just because it was so top heavy, front heavy. And even have her arm would pretty much either. I was gonna say I've got her without the stand. Even with the stand, I couldn't even have her holding the gun, that particular power bubble blaster. But yeah, you kind of see that piece there, that chest piece. I was trying to figure, was that classic or vintage? No, it's actually it goes for both. You can kind of see it does go for both. It goes for the vintage look here. Yeah, and like I said, that sword, I think I'm trying to remember if I got it right the first time, it was the vintage, that gold sword. But yeah, she's got the red cape, got that tiara with the clear. But yeah, just no matter what, like I said, I love the variety of the different looks you can give her on one figure. Mondo really, like I said, really knocked it out of the park. I mean, these guys did super, super, super good job on, like I said, I think it was Emiliano. He did the concept design. Taranana, I think he did the sculpt. Kind of give him some props to these guys. The paint, and then packaging art, I think it was Tracy Ching, and then the packaging design was Jordan. The photography, Raul, I think he did. And art direction was Hector. But yeah, these guys, Mondo, they all knocked it out of the park, man. I mean, it's just, even the cut and the sewing was Esther. It was Scandunas, I guess, did the sewing on it for with the cape. But yeah, look at that. There's the mask right there. She's got the mask on, and that's just a really beautiful looking figure. God dang, dang dong, dang, dang dong. What am I doing? This is such a beautiful figure. I mean, everything about it. And I love the portrait, her smile in there. Yeah, just that. Yeah, and the cape was, everything just, even like I said, the gold sword, the power. Yeah, this is the other sword. I don't know if at the beginning when I opened it up, this was definitely the bubble power sword. It's a little bit more thicker, bigger on the side. I don't want to say, but it looks similar to almost like the vintage one with the gold. But yeah, look at that. Just got the gold cape on there. Yeah, just the presence, the shelf presence on this, no matter what look you put this figure on, she's definitely command some attention on your, if you're a big Motu fan, got all the He-Man, everything else. But yeah, but these figures, very impressed. I mean, I can tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind if they end up re-releasing Tila. I mean, Tila was kind of more recent, but if they did a new updated Tila, not for the Motu universe, the new Tila in the movie, I should say, but just, love to see their, redesign the Tila and see what they're, how they did with the She-Ra. Huge upgrade. But yeah, you can see this big the windswept hair. Yeah, look at that. That is such a super cool figure. Even got to get her angry. There she is with her the fabric classic skirt right there. Very cool. I love it. So yeah, overall, like I said, if you stuck around this far, really appreciate you guys doing this. Huge fan of Mondo, especially with all their figures coming out. And this is one of the latest She-Ra figures. Like I said, you could have got the Swift Wind, her big horse, as a combination. That was really pricey. I just don't have the room for it. But there it is, the original She-Ra, the Mondo that they came out on the left. You can definitely see a huge improvement, definitely a big difference. So as usual, appreciate y'all stopping by. Hope this was helpful. And until the next one, take care.